Paris discovered that the poison had an accounting system. Bottles came and went, as if they were cooking recipes. Names passed from hand to hand, wrapped in confessions and notes. When the smoke reached Versailles, the question ceased to be, who died, and became, who signed. Today, we open the dossier of the affair of the poisons to follow recipes, warrants, and testimonies that transformed apothecary rumors into a court of fire. France, mid-1670s. The reign is that of Louis XIV, 1638-1715. King of France, a centralizer, obsessed with order and the appearance of court morality. Around the throne gravitate favorites and devotees of the new rite of Versailles, with its etiquette that confuses proximity and power. In this ecosystem, a parallel market of quick solutions emerges. Filters to conquer, powders to accelerate successions, discreet consultations for problems that don't belong in the confessional. At the epicenter of the police investigation appears Gabriel Nicolas de Laille. Reynie, 1625-1709, Lieutenant General of the Paris Police, a pioneer of urban procedures, streetlights, and systematic dossiers. He organizes the investigation. Around the vials, names that posterity has not forgotten: Catherine Monvoisin, La Voisin, CZ, 1640-1680, midwife, fortune teller, and intermediary in liaisons and encounters. A network of clients from the city to the court. Adam Lesage, a behind-the-scenes operator associated with writing petitions and arrangements. Abbe Etienne Guibourg, a clergyman whose figure appears in accounts of rites used as persuasive tools in requests and promises. In the highest stratum looms the shadow of Françoise Athénaïs de Rochechouart, Marquise de Montespan, 1640-1707, a favorite of Louis XIII for years, a central figure in the etiquette and halls of Versailles. The dossier will touch upon her name through testimonies and notes, and touching upon a name of that magnitude requires perfect documentation. The affair of the poisons is, not in our context, a story of potions. It is a case of crisis management. How does La Reynie transform rumors into a trial? What documents support each leap? Arrest warrants, confession statements, seizure inventories, records of the Chambre Ardente, and above all, when the papers reach Versailles, who benefits from the court structure and who loses even without a sentence? The police don't start with mysterious bottles. They start with lists and seals. La Reynie institutes a method that will leave a trace: denunciation notes and urban wiretapping. The first names come from complaints from family, neighbors, and people in the underworld. What matters isn't the rumor itself, but the convergence, repeated addresses, overlapping nicknames, similar schedules, warrants, and inventories. Each raid results in a seizure report: numbered jars, powders on waxed paper, notebooks with client lists, lamps, and tools. Everything goes into inventory with officers' signatures and location. Markings. Poison becomes a column in a table. Chain of custody. The materials go to warehouses with guards and tags. Number, seal, witness. Without a chain, no case. With a chain, each vial can be presented to the court as if it were a solid confession. Confessions and confrontations. The terms begin on the periphery of the network. Small clients, messengers, advance to operators, cronies, informal apothecaries, and seek the center, intermediaries who speak with people at the top. The reader language is standardized. Said, acknowledged, showed, led us to. Chambre Ardente. To prosecute without contaminating Parliament with panic, the government activates a special court, 1679. Closed-door sessions, selected judges, its own records. The desired publicity is that of example, not spectacle. In this process, La Voisin emerges as a knot. His book of clients, accounts, and messages transforms the parlor conversation into structure. The file shows patterns, orders, schedules, gifts, favors, prayers attached as persuasive props, and sometimes as threats. We don't need a legend to follow the case. Just follow the paper. The method makes the rumor scalable. When an address appears in 3 different complaints, the raid is automatic. When the same nickname appears in 2 notebooks, the person becomes a link. The strength of the dossier lies in the matrix it forms. Destined items, numbered bottles that reappear weeks later, cited in confessional terms by different clients. Cross-referenced lists, names repeated in order books and receipts for payments for prayers. Religious semantics as a service disguise. Delivery routes, coinciding schedules of servants seeking mood remedies. Pain reliever, reconciliation water. Marginal signatures, markings by agents who seize and scribes who copy. Each signature is a nail in the chain of custody. As the network unfolds, the paper rises. It leaves the neighborhood, enters the local government, crosses the police, until it reaches ministers. Reynie's machinery doesn't need to prove mystical intent. It proves administrative repetition, patterns of order, circulation, the process, and payment. That's what authorizes the leap to the special court. The government chooses the format to choose the outcome. The Chambre Ardente operates with 3 decisive advantages: concentrated competence, a select body of magistrates judges in series with a closed procedure. This reduces the leakage of versions, prevents big names from using public outcry as a defense, and allows for calibrating the classification: poisoning, clandestine abortion, witchcraft as an accessory. The objective is not catechism, it is governability. Documentary evidence as a backbone. The sessions follow inventories, terms, and confrontations. The word confessed appears standardized. Materiality, bottles, powders, recipes, enters as an anchor. Public belief may adore scandal. The court wants spreadsheets. The rhetoric of fire resides in the name. The mechanism is an archive. Pressure valve for Versailles. When the records touch on Versailles, the closed format allows for segregating what could implode the label. A ruling can shut down high-level branches for reasons of state without denying the rest of the network. The state saves the symbol without losing control of the operation. The mechanism produces a kind of administrative truth, not the truth of the heart, but the truth of repetition. Those who appear frequently on paper carry an institutional probability of guilt. Those who touch sensitive areas can be disassociated by political decision. And this is also a form of governmental truth. Follow the gains, and you will see the logic. Urban police gain status. The architecture of La Reynie, numbers, seals, deposits, terms, becomes a model for future crises. Fires, panics, counterfeit currency. Archives provide power by repeating the method. Magistrates of the special chamber accumulate symbolic capital. They are the men who shaped the chaos. This yields positions, consultations, and memory. Ministers protect the icon. By controlling how much of the case touches Versailles, the government preserves the liturgy of the reign while punishing the network at its base and in the middle. Rival networks fill the voids. When La Voisin falls, new intermediaries emerge in less exposed niches. Reputations are rearranged. Those who stayed away from paperwork emerge as orderly. Smaller buyers and clients negotiate exits. Plea bargaining, in the language of the time, useful acknowledgments, reduces damage. The message is pedagogical. Speak and survive. Remain silent and burn. The great utility of the format is didactic. It shows that the state knows how to count, inventory, listen, terms, distinguish, guilt, and protect the symbol that still sustains collective obedience. The case becomes a manual on how to manage fear without losing face. When the network falls apart, the state fills the voids with paperwork. In Paris, the trades of apothecaries and midwives begin to coexist with stricter registration requirements. Street vendors disappear from the center and migrate to the outskirts and markets. The urban police consolidate the image of counting, sealing, guarding, and presenting. What doesn't fit into this circuit is seen as suspicious by definition. At the court level, the utility is etiquette. It reinforces that access is not power without registration. The message is clear to the middle class that dreams of shortcuts, that which leaves no footprints in the service books, does not exist. Special justice, in turn, forms a framework of guilty parties that sustains the pedagogy of example, executed at the base, banished in the middle, silenced at the top when the reason of state so advises. The moral economy of the city changes. The vocabulary of filters and potions gives way to that of inventories and terms. Fear continues to exist, but now it has procedures, and procedures can be repeated whenever necessary. Decisions are imposed in waves. The Chambre Ardente produces serial convictions. Dozens of those involved face execution, banishment, or imprisonment. La Voisin is burned in 1680. The name becomes synonymous with dangerous intermediation. Others, classified as accomplices or operators, are punished with bans and marks that remove them from the social circulation in which they profited. When the process reaches Versailles, the policy shifts gears, records are sealed, branches closed by order, and the state claims the prerogative to close the book in the name of stability. High-profile names appear in terms and annotations, but the machine chooses where to stop. The double message is calculated: to the city, force; to the court, control; practical consequences, reorganized offices, more expensive and monitored licenses, and a culture of documentary suspicion. Those who handle substances must be able to prove what they do, when, and for whom. Symbolic consequence: the idea that paper, and not the miracle, decides the fate of reputations comes to inhabit France in the latter part of the reign. The legacy of the affair of the poisons is institutional: serial investigation, chain of custody, special court for crises that cannot be left to the noise of the public square. It is also political. The Crown shows that it knows how to punish without imploding its own myth. Regarding accuracy, the chronology lasts mid-1670s, 1679, Chambre Ardente, 1680 key executions, progressive closure in the early 1680s, is solid. The participation of court figures appears in testimonies and notebooks whose modern reading is cautious. There is convergence in patterns, orders, routes, lists, but dispute in the interpretation of scope. What doesn't change is the method. Following the paper explains both the arrests and the silence when reason of state closes the door. If bottles and terms bring down entire networks, performative testimonies can set a kingdom ablaze. In the next episode, Poison and Politics, the Popish Plot, 1678, when fabricated testimonies and religious panic transformed paper into public persecution.